Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks, and 6 o'clock Monday morning. Always looking forward to that. Bit of noise in the background. Martha's just making me a chai. Okay, so SPX daily chart here. We understood that being at the 6,000 and being at the previous highs here, we were going to see, selling supply come in at this point where we're seeing that there. Obviously, we've got the Middle East situation. Condolences there. Society's still so primitive. Perhaps we're going to have AI as presidents or something so we can get rid of all the waste of war. So we expect what we're getting here. We're expecting that, and the other main point that I wanted to make is that when you get this change, this a topping process, it doesn't always top the way that you would like it. And as an example of that today, anyway, we can see that the cash market has actually got quite a nice little 5 waves up here. Now, on the futures market, it's all a little bit squashy in here, and the futures market futures market's got the equities. Futures market got rollovers today as well in the next session. So in a bull market, the futures market, of course, will be out in front of the equity price. But as we start to see an approach for a top and a turn, you'll start to see that futures price start to pull back a fair bit as well. So that's what we're seeing in the futures market, and we picked that up early last week. We could see that in the price action as well. So yeah, everything indicated a top there. And as I also mentioned, is that I won't be able to get exactly everything perfectly okay, and based on that, we wouldn't be doing any trading in and around this particular top here. Now, what I said is once wave 4 comes into play, this minor wave 4, we'll be able to trade up to wave 5 here. And of course we'll have an ABC back for wave 2, wherever that comes back. It could be shallow, it could be deep, it could be medium, who knows. If we can identify it as being corrective, then we'll have a nice bull market run to go in here. Now, once we do make a new top here, a lot of Elliott folks will say, that's the top, the world's on fire, the bond market's cracking, and yada yada yada, and all that is true. But the market's money doesn't always see it like that. But still, we will, when we get this wave 2 in play here, we won't be panicking, we won't be bearish. We can trade some short positions, but we'll be looking for that low, and we'll be looking to build into that low there. Now, that's the scary bit. It was like this low here. When this came in, it was pretty scary, and we didn't even have a really nice bullish picture in here at all, ever. But we stayed bullish, and we kept on working it until proven otherwise. And we captured a few trades to the upside. We did okay. Could have been better. Always room for improvement. So today I'm just going to go through on. Normally I go through on the 15-minute chart, but I'm just going to go through on the hourly chart because I want to be able to pick up on a just sort of get the larger picture sort of happening as well. And secondly, as well, is that wave 4s out of all the Elliott corrections, so there's a dozen of them, they can all occur in wave 4 here. Now, wave 4 typically pulls down to the wave 4 of one lesser degree. It doesn't have to pull that far, but it could. It can go to the 38.2% retracement level, or it could be quite shallow, and I'm thinking, well, there's really good support at the 59 here. I think that's our first focus until proven otherwise. And then we're sort of left with this situation here. We could view this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would straight away say that, well, Pete, we know wave 4's overlap wave 1 here, and you'd be right on that. We could also drop on the open here as well. That would also be indication. I just think there's a little bit more, and the reason for that is that if I'm correct and we've got this wave 4 here, which is bigger than this wave 4, as markets move through the Elliott pattern through time, through, won't make it sound too moony, but through time here and empty space here, it basically it's this bull market, so it's growing. So that means that this wave 4 here will be bigger than this one here. So we're looking for a wave 4 here that will be, you know, a decent size. It could be much the same as this. It could be bigger. At the moment, it's too small. Now, I could extend this further to the upside here, and we could put this wave 3 up here. That would be the other option at this point. But I'm not a pessimist, but I'd like to work from the bottom up in terms of risk. So I'm going to put this wave 3 top in here, but I could work it another way. So if this trend just pushed straight up there, well, then I would do that, you know. But if this trend drops here, pulls back up here, and then we know that we're on the right place here. So basically, we don't really need to do anything at this point in time. We just need to wait it out, see how markets open, and so on. Okay, so that's the S&P, and also just before I leave this and look at the other markets, we have to tie most of the stocks into this. Now, there are stocks like Apple that's really weak and could even make a new low. Tesla's doing its own thing. What else is there? Well, Netflix is also doing its own thing in its own way as well, because it trended so much. But generally, this is the pattern here. So with stock, we're looking at wave 3 and 4, and we have to work through wave 4. And I just say don't look for any trades in wave 4 at this point. Let's just allow it to be for a session or two, and then we'll be able to start putting it together a little bit. So okay, so over to the NASDAQ. I won't go through a long spiel again and bore you to death, but basically wave 4 here and wave 5 up here for this. When we look at the futures market later on, we've got this wave 4 being overlapped by wave 1 over here. I mean, it's overlapping here already because of the spike and so on, but much more so. So I'm not quite sure how, I'm not going to look at the futures market in this video, but we should be looking for something like this. Now, it could get more complicated. I just need to see a little bit more, that's all. So, but yeah, just don't sort of get too involved in looking for trades at this point. We need to understand what we've got here. I mean, like I said, we could count it as 5 waves. I could see other ways of looking at it as well. Like I say, there's a dozen different types of corrections that it could be, but once it matures to a point, then we can start, breaking it down, normally chopping those dozen in half into 6. So that's where we are. Let's have a look at stock. So this is my bearish count for Apple. I should really say it's Alessios. So looking at this as an A and a B, and looking for 5 waves coming down here. But I'm not convinced of that just yet, but I can see that. So I still need to play around with this. It's still a little bit sort of early, and I think this is going to get even more complicated. Yeah, I mean, I can see for the short term we're going to be basically just following the other markets, but I think there's also something else in here as well. Like when the S&P and that go up for wave 5 of wave 1 up here, then we'll either have this as a smaller wave 1 and 2 here, or we come back down here again. And for the timing of things, this wave 2 would come over to here. So I think there's still a lot of complication to go in here. So unless we see anything that really, makes a move on all of this, then we just shouldn't be in it. I've said that before. So we'll just leave it, right? That's the best thing to do. There's better markets out there. Okay, so this is where we had Amazon. I'm a little bit reluctant to bring it down into the other markets, into the other patterns at this point. I just think we might end up with a little bit So I'll just leave it like that, but what I'll do is I'll just bring the stop up here a little bit further. And also with the stop, of course, what we do, or we look for, I mean, if you're around at the time, because if the market's going to come down, it's going to come down and bounce off it, and then it's going to come through it, and then leave the first low below the level. Now, once it's got that first low below the level there, it may come back down through it. It's a bit like this one here. Just when it comes back down, it's just gone back up there, or like this one over here. You know what I mean? So when you're working around large numbers, always look for that spike to the downside. So that's what we'll look for the stop. Okay, so if not, then you just put the stop at 206 and leave it there at that point. But we'll just see if we can push it back up here a little bit further on this, because when I look at the aftermarket here, I've got quite a nice ABC pattern that started beforehand, you know. So I'll just leave this one as is, but all the others are changed, or changed. I mean, what I mean by that is just bringing that wave 3 top in here, you know. And so with NVIDIA here as well, we've got a wide stop on this, and we've got a couple of positions here. So I'm going to squeeze the top in here by having this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. You can have some sort of triangle there to make it look pretty and justify it for ourselves. But basically, yeah, I'm just not quite sure how this pattern's going to play out, but most of the other patterns could drop on the open, depending about the futures. So maybe drop on the ocean. I was going to say drop on the open, and then some sort of wave 4 here. You know, I'm not quite sure how it's going to play out. So, but we just got to give it a little bit of space to do its business. You know what I mean? And we don't need to be all over it. We can just stand back and observe it for a little bit. And I mean, even you can see that it was quite strong here, and then it's sort of rolling over here, you know. So it's not, anyway, 150 is not going to go far, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, just on the on meta platforms here, and once again, I'm putting a top in, and I was looking for one more little wave to the upside, as you may know. And yeah, so we'll look for this wave A here. I just don't know if that's completed just yet. It doesn't look like it's completed. And then some sort of B wave and some sort of C wave here. So we'll get some sort of idea. Like I said, they can pull back to the wave 4 of one lesser degree. And yeah, so at 680, you can do the same thing with the stop as well, the first low below the level. But I was also thinking too that if we do come down here and go back up here, then, you know, because we're not quite sure how far we'll come down. I don't think it's going to, I mean, obviously with this medium level here at 650 would be the go, but that brings us all the way back down here. So I'm thinking that what we could do is we could just see this consolidation here. That will be where wave B goes. So I think that we could just take it off the table there, and then we can look to get back in over here. So yeah, so maybe just below, anywhere from 688 to 690 in there. If you're there at the time, just see how it sort of plays out. That way we can just get a little bit more out of it. Okay, I just realised we've still got this position down here as well, but wave 5. I mean, if we look at wave 3's extension, and we look at wave 1 here, which was a bit jagged, we know the reasons for that. But so wave 5 up here may get us close to this move up to the to the 800 up here, or 78, or this old high here. That's going to be a problem. So yeah, I don't know. We could lock it in there. We could just do some other short trades in there if you like, or if you want to keep this right up to wave 1, which is not such a bad idea. Just thinking of all the implications. I mean, it's not going to go far up here because of this high here, so taking money off the table here is good. Okay, over to Netflix, and we've got wave 3 top in here. Had a beautiful trend with all of this. We've been stopped out in here for this, and yeah, so I'm not sure how this is all going to play out here, but we'll look for something like this. As it matures, we'll look for it. We can get for wave 4 and trade wave 5 up here and that sort of thing, and then get out, and we'll have to navigate wave 2 here. But yeah, we'll try to capture this here, but we'll just give this a little bit of space. And Google, so with Google here, we're going to see, I've got wave 3 top in here. I think wave A is in. I just don't know how far this is going to drop here, if any. Let's just assume that it does make a new low here, and we'll have to deal with that. And then wave B, and then wave C here. This is the wave 4 of one lesser degree, and then we'll move up there. So you may or may not have taken money out here, because I think we might have had this at 83 or something. But if you want to go further up with all of this, we're going to have to survive wave 4 here, or get out. You either get out now. I'm just going to move this here. I'm just going to move this back down here, get it out of the way, and that should take us up to, yeah, 190, if not further, depending. So we'll move the stop out of the way to 162 for the time being. You could get out right now. You may be out already, because I think we're looking at, I've got this sitting at 180, but I'm sure I had that at 182 or something. 182, 183. Either, well, just pretend that you haven't got out, because there might be people still in there. But yeah, we'll move the stop. We'll play it out here. There's a lot of support here. We've got these tops here and this one here. So it's just a matter of riding this out here. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the wave structure here. It's moving up 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I think that's good. It looks like a wave 4 here as well. Could come back to the wave 4. We may get the same sort of, looks like we get the same sort of fingerprint as this one here. So the A, the B, and like the A, the B, and the C wave here. So this C wave here might be might give you a little bit of grief. It might be sort of played out quite, in a long fashion here, and drag the pain out, So just I mean, even if you took half of it off here now, that's not such a bad idea. Okay, over to Microsoft. Yep. So our target got hit at 480, so that's cool. So we'll get rid of that. And yeah, so I think everything looks pretty good here. This has always been a pretty simple trend to follow. So I just don't know if we get a little move down here. I'll just pretend we do, but I don't know if we do. Then there'll be some sort of rally and some move in here. We've got support here, so I could use that for the time being. Let's just see how things play out here. I mean, it's a decent, this wave 1 here is a decent size, isn't it? It's like, good 50 points here. So that will give us, I think we'll get to the 500 on this. Anyway, well, as always, we have to count our waves. So yeah, we'll try to get a long trade in on wave 4 here, because this has been pretty smooth, this market. And Tesla. So I haven't had to change this at all or update it. It's pretty much same. So we've got 3 waves up here so far, up here, and we noted this as being corrective here. So we still need to see a push up here higher. So yeah, maybe a little bit higher, and then pull down inside of it. I mean, I'm just trying to a little bit like Apple, just trying to line this wave 2 up here with wave 2 on the NASDAQ when it's ready. So that's what I'm trying to do at this point. So I don't see a trade here at the moment. We could trade wave C up here if we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We'll get some sort of ABC pattern here. It may not be that big, and then we'll get wave C up here. It could take us higher, so we could look for a trade in this point, because when this gets to when this here will be in the S&P and the NASDAQ, that's going to be wave 1 here. Then we'll have an ABC for wave 2. So it's going to be something like that, but don't hold me to it too much, you know. But this would be trading like wave 5 up for the other market, so we could get a a little bit out of it. But yeah, nothing today. So we've got Bitcoin here, and Bitcoin, the Bitcoin started its trend down here in line with the NASDAQ. So my philosophy on this is that it's just another tech stock, and that's how Wall Street are seeing it. They really haven't gone down the rabbit hole just yet, and it's hitting the wholesale business, and it hasn't really soaked into the suburbs yet. Bitcoin, so everybody's still talking about a Bitcoin, and I'm starting to hear people talk about sats a little bit more, but the people that do that are have been down the rabbit hole a bit. So I just don't think it's a separate commodity product just yet, and that's why it's not like it's not like, I mean, it is like gold, but it's and all the buying for the gold is being done by the central banks. You can see that from the deliveries. Anyway, it's still a child, it's still a baby, and it's still trying to get its identity. We'll just leave it like that. And so I think that I think I'm just going to look at it as wave 4 here, and we could get some type of same move here as we're going to get for the other markets, and then we push up here. And as I mentioned before, is that when we get to this wave 2 here in the tech stocks and everything else, this is the last chance you're going to get to get the last best price, before the bus leaves town, so to speak, this one here. So this is the one that you've got to build in on. But at the same time, we don't want to do it too early as well, because if we've got a new top in place here, and we've got a new top in for the NASDAQ and the S&P, like I said, a lot of folks will be calling this the top of the market, and we'll be going for wave 2. But at the same time, we have to prove to ourselves that we're right. And based on that, we would need to see this wave C here. We could go long above the B wave here, but we could also, if we got 5 waves here, then we know that we'll get an ABC pattern, and then we're going to get another 5 here. So that means once we've got this little 5 here, we can buy back in over here. So instead of buying in over here, we can just buy back in here and build in over here. And we could just keep building that, because then we know that we're on the right track. We've confirmed it to ourselves. So that's what we'll be doing. That's what I'll be doing. And that way, because if it just keeps on coming down, then we're not going to get caught out. Do you know what I mean? So that's good at this point. Yeah, there'll be lots of other markets. All the markets will be in this particular thing as well, banks and so on. As far as this goes here, all I'm trying to do is that I don't know if it's the right count. All I'm trying to do is keep it in line with the rest of the markets in a general fashion. So the end of wave 4 will be important for all markets. because they'll find some good news to push up with, maybe some negotiations in the Arab world, and that situation can cool off, something. So they'll all find that turning point themselves at that stage. Now, it's possible that this move down here could be counted as a corrective move, and I just can't get 5 waves up out of this one here. I can in some other markets, like IBIT and those sorts of things, but I just can't get 5 waves up here. So I don't want to look at this as 1 and 2 here at the moment. It looks like it kind of looks like it, because this little move here, I can count 5 waves in here, I can count 3 waves here, I can count 5 waves here, I can count 3 waves here, and I can count probably a little 5 waves here as well. So this can this can at least do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, this type of thing, and that could just be a B wave, and then we come down here, So yeah, I don't know if we do this or we come here and we carry on up here. I don't know which is the right path for this. But in a way, I'm not really bothered, because what I'm really looking for this, and so should everybody else, I reckon, is this wave 2 here. This is the focus here. So it's not really a matter of trading this. This is a position trade here, and this will be, this could be the last price at the 100,000. As I've always said here, when we arrived here, and we have some sort of correction here, accumulating anywhere under 90 and under 80 would be the best bet to do, in terms of everything. But even so, at any price will be fine, because I reckon it's going to move pretty quick from 100,000 to 200,000, and that's a bit of a doubling of your dosh at that point, because we'll be traveling in a third wave, and yeah, and all this will just be up. If this is correct, then we'll just be up there for 1, going up for 1 and 2 at this point. This wave 2 won't pull too far back, because we'll be in the third of the third at that point, So pretty interesting times. So I think that Bitcoin's got the opportunity, because of the supply factor, I think Bitcoin's got the opportunity to range more than the other tech stocks and the banks and those sorts of things. Like, I mean, I don't know the banking system that well in the US, but I know here in Australia of what's going on with the new tax laws and how money's going to flow out, and there'll be $150 billion going into the housing market because people are pulling out of their super funds, and then that will supply the banks with more loans and yada yada yada. The wheel spins. So so I can see it. I can see other industries jumping in on this third wave here. Okay, so with CoinSpot and strategy here, I haven't updated their wave 4s, but I can certainly do that by bringing this little wave 4 over to here and this one over to here and this type of thing. You know what I mean? So I can. That means that this has got to go a little bit further there. This has probably got to come down here. This will probably got to go over there. This will be 1 and 2 here. This will be some sort of 3rd and 4th here or something. Some other 4th and 5th here to finish off, and then pushing up at that point. And MicroStrategy, I have to go back and look at this trend here to change that, but it'll probably just be something as simple as dropping this to here and this to here, but I need to double check on that, but just pointing out what will probably happen. And this looks like a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for an A and a B and a C wave here, so we could just come down here on this. I mean, I can see that we're finished at this point. I can just leave that there, and we can just use I'm not quite sure. Wave 4s are tricky. Okay, so so we don't need to do too much at this point with this, but there should be a little bit more over here for this. And it doesn't really matter if you were going to trade this here or any of the other call options they got and all those sorts of things, then we still need to, whatever happens here, we still need to wait for this, and this. This is the time down here to try to, if you're chasing those 8, 9, and 10% yields, which are obviously not guaranteed. The cash market can, this stock could outperform the call options, selling covered calls or whatever they're doing. They've got about 4 different products now. So that, the covered calls are always not the best option. Okay, so that's that. Alrighty. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.